catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.
Good evening. Welcome to Storytime. I am so excited. This is Crystal, your host of Storytime Podcast, and also your host of Hope Catalyst TV on the Roku Network. And right now, I want to say, join me on YouTube. I have another producer that I'm actually interviewing tonight. I'm so excited about this. This is just really, really cool because the network that I'm on, that I actually have my TV show produced on, she also has one produced there. So this is exciting. So come on over. If you are a podcaster or somebody who's looking to broaden your horizon, this is the show you want to see. All right. I have Maria. I always mess it up. Maria. I have Maria, right? And I'm gonna have to make sure I practice that. Maria. It's kind of like Maria, but Maria. I have Maria today, and we're gonna go into this. So let's just tell you a little bit about what we're doing today. This is Storytime Podcast, and listen, let me tell you right now. If you've never been here before, let me give you a glimpse on how we get you out there. Okay. So if you watch our show, you might catch us anywhere. You might catch us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Facebook Live. I mean, we are spreading the love everywhere online we could possibly think of, okay? That's what this is all about. And how do you do it? Well, what you do is you contact me so you can get your story heard. And so let me tell you how that works. Take a listen real quick. All right, everybody, are you ready? This is Crystal. I am so excited to have you here on Storytime. I want you to know that now you can be seen and heard. Yes, Storytime has expanded, and you will be able to see yourself streaming live on multiple platforms. So come on over and get with us and check it out. I want you to go ahead and schedule your interview, and you never know where they might find you online. So thanks for watching. See you somewhere on the internet. Somewhere on the internet, on any one of these places. But tonight, while you are here on Storytime, I have this young lady, and this young lady has a lot of knowledge to bring to us. And I said she's also a young lady who has a show she's produced. Maria is the founder of Brown Girl Interrupting LLC and a transformative leadership and identity coach. How many of y'all need to figure out your identity? Well, if you do, y'all need to meet me over here on YouTube because this is where you need to be. All right. She's born to Muslim immigrants from Pakistan, right? And Bangladesh. And she's a second generation American who had dynamic interplay between her parents' rich cultures and the pursuit of understanding her American identity. So talk about someone who really understands what it's like to be here in the U.S. and not originally have her culture from here. This is going to be really good. Now get this. She brings 8 years of expertise, y'all. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years as a specialist in race and equity with the field of DEI. What? Y'all know everything that took place today and how many people lost their job? So I'm excited about that right there. My. So listen, I'm not going to delay this too much longer because there's so much we could talk about because she is just doing some amazing things with her coaching and everything she has going on. We're going to get that to you about transformative self-discovery. We're going to talk about the show and how you can get yourself seen on Iran and different things like that. We're going to talk about being a mom and a parent. And we're going to get to know who this young lady is right now that y'all been seeing on the Brown Girl Interrupting. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this picture out the way and I'm going to bring her up to the stage and let y'all see this beautiful face. And listen, I want a drum roll, y'all. Let's go. Bam, Maria, are you there? Are you there?
I am here. I am here. I love that intro, the drum roll, the energy. Like, yes, 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 I am here and I'm so excited. Um, so thank you. Thank you for inviting me on the show.
Yes, ma'am. I'm so glad. They said birds of a feather flock together. So I'm so glad for Ja and us meeting through the iRant network. And I certainly want to talk about that. I'm going to definitely get a chance to go into so many things that you have to share with our audience. But one of the things I always do, Maria, is I always, and it's Mara. Let me say it again. So I'm gonna have to
Right.
have a nickname because I'm gonna mess up all night, and I'm gonna mess up. So give me a
Okay.
nickname.
So Maria, but I will tell you, Ja and all my iRant family call me BG. So you can go with that.
BG, Brown
BG.
Girl for
Brown
Brown
girl,
Girl.
I'm BG.
BG for brown girl, y'all. Okay, brown girl it is. Okay, listen, y'all, because I don't like messing people's names up. Here's what I like to always have my guests do in the beginning. Because people see us in our expertise and they see us in our work mode, and a lot of times they don't know the backstory. They could read a little bit, but I usually like to give people the opportunity to really take us back. And I always ask that $1,000,000 question, like, who are you? Who was the little girl? So I know I read what you put on the bio, but I'd love for you to give us a moment and just share a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about your background for the people who never met you.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna start from the beginning. I am a daughter of immigrants. So my parents immigrated here in 1971 from Pakistan and Bangladesh. So I was born in America. I was raised in America, but I was always, and I always have been. I think you mentioned this in the beginning. Like I've been culturally straddling two worlds all my life. So little Maria has always been trying to kind of figure out who little Maria was, how brown she was, how American she was, how Muslim she was. So that's kind of been like the backstory of my life. But the other thing is that I've also been someone who's been curious and questioned everything. I was the wild card. I was the black sheep. I was the one who always pushed the limits and pushed the questions and didn't just go with the flow of what was told to me. So that is little Maria, but somewhere along the ways, little Maria was dimmed and her light was dimmed. And my story really kind of started to unfold when I was in college. I got involved with a man who was older than me in a job that I had. He was one of my bosses at the time, and I got pregnant. And that really was kind of the awakening of what I would call my pain to power journey. And so anybody who knows me knows I have a show called Pain to Power, but it started there. It started when I was a college student, a junior in college, and I had to tell my very conservative Muslim family that I was pregnant. So I not only carried the responsibility of just being a pregnant 20-year-old in college, but I had the responsibility of having to now be the only person in my family, immediate and extended, in my entire Muslim community where my parents were pillars of it, of bringing this whole other way of life changing. And it was difficult. It was really difficult, but I learned so much about myself, and in that I healed. Like I became I was the wild card. I was the black sheep. I was the party girl, and like overnight I went from being the party girl to, okay, now I got to figure out how to be a mom. And at the same time, the father of my child, who was then ended up becoming my husband, um left. He kind of walked out of it. He didn't want the responsibility. So I was doing it alone. I was doing it while balancing an entire community and the responsibility of being the one Muslim girl who got pregnant and kept the child and decided to keep the child. So it was a lot. And then a year after my son was a year old, I did get married to his father. And for 17 years, that is really my deepest pain to power journey was I was in an emotionally abusive marriage with a narcissist. I didn't know it at the time. I just thought I wasn't enough. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't valuable enough. And I just spent 17 years trying to prove my worth, my value, my presence while showing up for the 4 children I brought into this world. Um, and when I left after 17 years is when I finally got my voice and started to live my life. So that is really like how I became Brown Girl Interrupting. It was that journey of losing myself and then finding her again and
Wow.
to help
Wow.
everyone else do the same.
That's amazing. Man, like the pressure of being born into a family with privilege and being the black sheep, the one who gets pregnant and the only one in the community. That's pressure right there, like to be looked on like that. And I can only imagine the pressure that you got from your parents, because when we came up back in the day, it was all about not shaming our parents, you
Oh,
know and
yeah.
so it was like, oh my goodness. So I got married and it was a shotgun wedding. It was like, oh, you're pregnant, you get married, no problem. And so I
Mhm.
get that right there. So my goodness. So coming into a world with privilege, um, and then getting out there on your own and discovering reality, was that a big shocker for you?
Mm. I appreciate you saying that because I sit in that a lot. Like I know that there's so many privileges to this, right? Like I was able to get my footing. I was able to finish college while I was starting to be a single mother and being alone with my son because I had a lot of privilege and my parents helped me for certain. But yeah, the pressure was still there. So I think the biggest aha was not the independence because I kind of always was just a very driven person. I'm a Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn, which is just I am always doing something, creating something. Like I was always working hard. So the independence of it wasn't the challenge. I think the challenge was more so like how do I how do I take care of someone else? And
Mm,
that was the hardest part, honestly. It
mm,
was like, I've been this kid who like, I've been this girl to
mm,
your point, like a privileged
mm,
girl to some extent. Like, I never really had to take care. I was a middle kid. I
mm,
wasn't the oldest daughter. I didn't have all the responsibilities. I I never really took care of anybody. Like, that was like a huge shift for me. And here I am, and now I have to take care of someone and make sure they're okay because I'm the only one they rely on. And I gotta go to school and I gotta make sure I have a future for us. And I gotta make sure I hold it all together because my family does look at me and there is perception. And I gotta show everybody that my parents were right to
mm,
bet on me, to support me. Like it was a lot of different angles of pressure that at 20, I got 3 boys who are in their 20s now, and I look at them and I'm like, God, I can't imagine, who I was and what I was balancing, and your lives are so different than mine, right? And I'm grateful for that because I'm grateful they don't have to balance what I had to balance. But um, yeah, like I had to grow up quickly, which right? I mean, when you get pregnant, it's like you got no choice. You got to. You're
yes,
responsible for someone else.
yes, 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 yes. Um, you said something. You said it was like, okay, what do I do? How do I take care of these little ones? These people looking up to me. There's no handbook. I tell that to my children all the time. There is no handbook to being a parent, right? And so,
None.
let me ask you this:
And
what
if
would
there
you say?
was, you know what? People be rewriting it all the time.
All the time.
Like,
So my first question to you on that is, what would you say was the biggest challenge becoming a mom at a young age like that? Outside of the house, outside of your parents, the disappointment with your parents, the pressure from the household and the community, outside of that.
so, the funny thing is, I felt like I was always meant to be a mom. So being a mom was easy. Being young kind of made it easier. I was able to bond with my kids. Like I was in education, so naturally children and being with children was easy. What was the hardest part was being married to someone who made me feel like I was never good at it. I was inadequate. Nothing I did was valuable as a mother, as a nurturer, right? Like that was the hardest part. The hardest part was seeing the good of me when I was told there was nothing good about me.
So let me ask you this, because I was going to segue into that. I heard you say about the domestic violence, abusive relationship with the narcissist and everything. Sometimes when we don't have the support we need from family and the people around us, we are vulnerable and we look for a connection with others because we're out there by ourselves. So do you believe that it was because you didn't really have that much support, or did you have the support and you just fell for him?
I had support, but I had conditional support, right? I had support as long as I lived a certain life, as long as I showed up as a religious, like in religion, a certain way. Like I was supported. I wasn't supported to fully be myself the same way. And so when he came back into my life, part of my impulsiveness and lessons I've learned in life is that I looked at him as almost this like this was going to be my freedom to finally be myself, to finally live the life I wanted to, right? So I had not that. I had this almost like this now internal pressure of, well, now I've made this decision. I fought so hard to be married to this person, to now be with him and have this life together that I have to prove to everyone I can do it. It was like the perfectionism in me came out, and I had to prove I can do this. If anybody can do it, Maria can do it. And
Yeah.
that what I spent years and years and years convincing myself I could contort and change and comply and acquiesce, and I would do it. I would make it work.
Wow. And so I'm going somewhere with this because I know that you do coaching and you help people. And a lot of times, sometimes it's our foundation, right? It's where we come from. So this is why I'm asking these questions. What had motherhood taught you about yourself?
Mm. Um, Motherhood has taught me um, that it is what we think is the way to parent, that we may have been parented, is actually counterproductive to how we raise humans. It's
Mm,
how we raise our children,
mm,
who have a perception and a path and an expectation, but it's not how we raise humans. Because what I learned, and I learned it over time and I learned it after a lot of mistakes, is that I had to understand, there's this poem that talks about the idea that our children are arrows, right? We are pulling back everything and then we let them go.
mm, mm,
And what I grew up with culturally, going back to what you said, part of what my coaching is the first step is remembering the patterns we've inherited. And sometimes those are cultural patterns, sometimes those are socialized patterns in just society and the expectations of womanhood and motherhood and parenting. But I was taught your children are an extension of you. And when
mm,
children are your extension, well, then what they do is a shame on you, is a perception of you, is your job. How, and you feel compelled to then contort them into the path and the story that you want them to be. When I let go of my story for my children
mm.
and I let them be who they wanted to be, our relationship tremendously healed.
Wow.
And they became these beautiful humans that are out in the world doing wonderful things. And maybe some of it is still finding what that means for them, but they are good people and they know that I respect and see them as that,
Wow.
not what I want them to be.
Yes. And that's so interesting because we came up in a time where a lot of it was just the opposite. We came up in a time where it was where we had to be what they wanted us to be. You're gonna go to school, you're gonna get a good education, you're gonna get a good job, you're gonna get married, everything was dictated to us. And we had
Mhm.
to follow the law of the land. We had to follow the what path that was laid out for us. So thank you for that. That's beautiful. And I believe that the world has changed to the point where more and more people are thinking like you. More and more people are giving the children more freedom and giving them more unconditional love, unconditional, without the conditions. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's bringing about more. But not everybody, but some people. So that was really, really good. So now I want to lean over here to the left to talk a little bit about that 17-year span that you had, because I don't want to skip that because that's an important piece, right? Because there's a lot of women that are stuck. They are still in relationships that they can't get out of. They don't have an exit strategy. They don't have confidence. They don't understand that. They don't think they could do it on their own. So I want to talk a minute about how you manage to get away and break away. And if there's anyone watching this that comes back and does the replay that is in that type of situation, you can encourage them and let them know that it is possible that they can do it on their own.
Absolutely. So, first, can I say that I literally just wrote a piece yesterday called A Million Moments, because it's never one thing. It's a million moments that break a marriage. It's a million moments of questioning yourself and what you're feeling and experiencing. And you teeter on the edge of leaving over and over and over again. So if you're a woman out there right now and you're on that teeter and you can see the side of that cliff, but you are afraid to jump, I want to encourage you that you are seeing what you need to see. It is real. It is not in your head. There is something on the other side of that. So my piece is literally what I used to write in between from 2012 to 2018 when I left. I would just write notes in my iPhone that I then created and captured in this piece of the million moments of just how my mind was processing it all and seeing things but not really seeing things, and getting my voice and then losing my voice and then gaining it again. So it took a really, really long time from 2012 to 2018. But my biggest catalyst of when I could leave was
Mm-hmm.
that I had 4 children, as I said, but my 3 oldest were born within 5 years from age 22 to 27. And they were
Wow.
all boys, beautiful, amazing boys. But ooh, life was busy. Life was busy. And raising boys is very different. When
Mm.
my youngest son was 11 years old, I became pregnant again. And it was at a time when I also was starting to see these big patterns. My ex was not working. I was holding down the fort. I was living with his parents at the time, and I was the only adult out of 4 adults working a job. I was pregnant with my 4th child, and I would come home and I would still be told I was not enough. I was not doing enough. I was not valuable enough. I was emotionally battered. And when I found out I was having a girl, that's when things started to shift, because it was a moment when I was holding my daughter and we were in a very familiar argument, which many of you may know, one of those ones where oh, I know this pattern, right? Back and forth, back and forth. I heard the words diminishing me as I'm holding my daughter, and I looked at her and I just realized that she's watching me. She's watching me as a girl, and I'm the woman, and I'm the one who's teaching her what a woman is supposed to be. And I'm the one who's showing her what love is supposed to feel like. And none of this is that. And I've watched my boys experience this, and it didn't help. I can't imagine doing this with a daughter. So when she was a year and a half old, that was it for me. There was a couple things that happened, but it was mainly, really, a lot of it was because I could not be the woman I wanted her to see me be. She is the reason I became the woman I am today.
Wow. Wow. That's beautiful. Sometimes, and you know what? It's probably to save the young men, because those boys, I'm sure after a while, they will start defending their mom, because a lot of times the boys, they're going to be there. They turn into men and they get very protective over their mama, you know?
They do, but I will say, and this goes back to patterns and socialization, is that when we are not explicit with our messages, we um what is the word? It's on the tip of my mind. The idea of, like, it's like almost like it's in the ether. It's the fog, right? It's the fog. It's the implicit messages. It's the
Yes.
implicit things that are
Yes.
happening around us. And so when I left my marriage, it was actually the implicit messages that my boys held on to, not the
Mm,
protection of their
wow.
mother. It was everything they saw their father do, just repeated in my life when I was separated from him. So part of my pain to power story is all of those things, right? But boys, and this is where, again, like, you have to really be honest. And that means that, really, women, you gotta leave.
Mm,
Nothing about staying when you know you are being broken is helping your children.
yeah, you got
They are internalizing it, and they are feeling it, or they are deciding that that is how I'm supposed to behave, or that is how I'm supposed to accept behavior.
And you know what? Narcissists, a lot of times, some people think narcissists are always attracted to the people with low self-esteem and unresolved issues. But there have been narcissists I've known that have been attracted to confident and independent people too. So it goes both ways. So do you think there is any truth to that? I mean, like,
Oh,
and how
absolutely.
can a person detect a narcissist? Like, with your experience, if you could tell a woman signs to say, listen, get away from this guy, he's not the one, what would be some signs that you would tell a woman that you are dealing with a narcissist?
I think so. Some easy ones, some real clear ones that you can see early is, look at who they surround themselves with. If a man has friends who simply are his yes men, who build his ego up more than hold him accountable or have honest conversations with him, that is a red flag of someone whose ego is driven, right? And there's a lot of narcissism in there because they need that. They need to be fed. They need to be around people who make them feel like they're exalted. Um, Another thing is, I mean, I guess it's like, it's the constant correction of you, right? So to your point, like, I wasn't a superly confident woman, but I also wasn't a superly, like, I wasn't just so down on myself. I knew myself. I believed in some things. I knew I had some, capability. I knew I was strong in certain things. But that's almost what it is. It was like I was on the teetering of strength, and I think narcissists see empaths, and they see people who have a lot of, almost to some extent, martyrdom, like, I can help you, I can fix you. And they feed off of that. And then their goal is to just siphon all that energy from you and to shut it down and to dim your light. And they know your power. Like, I think what I realized after I left, and probably almost 5 years into leaving finally, is that he was fearful of my power. He was fearful of the light that I had, which is why he tried to control me so much.
Yes. Wow.
And that's what narcissists do.
Okay. And then it's interesting that you took all that you went through and like, you created your talk series. I mean, you took your creativity and you began your healing process with writing and you start doing so much. You develop podcasts, you develop talk series, you have writing, you went and got your education so you can teach others with your coaching. So I think that is all commendable. So when did you discover that this is what you wanted to do? When did you discover that, okay, I'm going to take my experiences
Mhm.
now and I'm going to give back and I'm going to guide others through this?
So, thanks for that question. Yeah, it's like it's taken it was a couple of different pieces. One of which, and you mentioned right that I have a degree in teaching and leading for equity. I have a master's. It's behind me right here from McDaniel College, and that was like the catalyst for me. It was my master's classes that started to give me language about identity. And
Mm,
identity was where I started to like look at my own identity. I started to think about what am I losing sometimes when I go home and I can't really fully be myself. And so when I started my job, my current job, which is a specialist in race and equity in a school system, a lot of the work was about culture and identity, and it started to really resonate with me. And that was around the time also that the I had finally left. I'd finally left the marriage, and I was trying to understand myself. And so in the pain of my children, in the pain of, co-parenting with someone who was an emotionally abusive person and a narcissist, in just trying to find my footing, I realized that I I just needed to process it. So I started writing, to your point. It was really with writing, right? And my writing had started as like the smallest of I literally like started writing blogs, made a tiny little website, sent it to 5 friends. I was like, here, look, I did some writing. I've got some things. I had no idea that those friends would share it with other friends and then other friends. And then I would meet people and they'd be like, I read your piece. And I'm like, you read my writing? Like, who does that? Right? Why would you read my writing? And they would resonate with it. And they were like, you gave me words to the things I've been experiencing. You are speaking the language that I understand. And I would hear it over and over and over again. And that is when I started to see, like, oh, like I, by writing about my story and just processing my pain, am giving someone else permission to do the same thing. So it started there. And then it just started to become bigger and bigger. And to your point, right, we're both on the iRant network. Well, it was Ja from the iRant network, Mr. M Logic, who saw me before I saw me. And that
wow.
was the beginning of really Brown Girl Interrupting becoming something more than just writing.
And if y'all don't know what she's speaking of, I'm going to take a moment to just pause right there and happy birthday,
Happy birthday to our
John!
brother.
So we're talking about the man who came up with an amazing platform called the iRent Network, and both of us actually have a show on that network, and he gives people the opportunity to expand beyond these platforms and to do things that would not otherwise be possible. So we are so grateful. And that is how we met. We met through that process. And we'll let you see a little bit of how that is because both of us do have channels. And I want to go to her website anyway, and then I'll let you see that. But I want to touch, and Josh said, speak on from the heart. I said, John, I told him, I said, when I called to say happy birthday, I said, we're going to plug you today. We're going to plug you. And if it's anything I could say to anyone, that if you just can't do it for yourself, you have an idea, but you don't know how to do it. You just want to show up in front of the camera and that's it. You don't want to do none of the work behind the scenes and you just need direction. Then let us know and we'll point you in the right direction to him because he's a really good, genuine gentleman. He has a good heart. He's not trying to break anyone, and break the bank. But what he is doing is giving our culture the opportunity to have our own. And it's been a blessing. It's truly been a blessing, I know, for me. And you've been with him much longer. What would you say about Ja to anyone who is looking for the opportunity like we have?
Well, I have brought many people to Job because I believe in him so much and I know what he does. He's a visionary. He's a
Yes, he.
visionary, and the iRent network is something that is so different than any other network of podcasts and shows in that it is truly a network weaving, which is the fundamentals when we talk about DEI, fundamentals of community connections and community building, where people own their own work, they show up and they show their brilliance, and he guides them. Ja Logic, whatever you call him, he's got so
Yeah,
many names, but I
yeah,
would say, but he is the same as how he shows up, no matter what, right? Is a brilliant visionary who created a network that is about people,
it
and it
is.
elevates stories of so many different ways that we show up. And that can be in humor, that can be in seriousness, that can be in the depths of pain, that can be in joy, it can be in just how we show up in our dynamics of just identity, right? All of those different layers. And he's a brilliant producer. And honestly, I've been with him since 2021. And
That's amazing.
he started producing a co-hosted podcast
Hmm.
that I was first on, called Better Minds Interrupting, with my co-host Trinita Palmer. It was her show. And that's where Pain to Power was born. Was I took a chance and offered him, I like kind of came to him and I was like, I think I want to do my own show. And that's where Pain to Power was born. But and this is the piece for him. He sees you before you see you.
Mm,
I don't know how
mm.
he came to you, Crystal, but he sees you before you see you. He said to me when he first connected with me, he's like, I want you to have a channel on my network. And I'm going to him like, channel of what? Like, what? Channel of what? What you mean channel? What? I had no clue what he was visioning.
Yes, 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 yes. And
He
and
saw it. He
man,
saw
I'm telling you, the work he does
and
is
and this
amazing.
production stuff is only a piece of him. He is a filmmaker. He is a youth development or experience. He has done so much within community. He is always giving back. He is training people. He is teaching people. He is on the board of Queens World Film Festival. Like, he is the most dynamic person you will ever meet.
Yes, yes, yes. Tell him. Definitely he is. He is all
That's
of these
how
things.
we love you.
Yes, 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 yes. And I want to show you a piece of what his work looks like, right? So I want you to see, like, if you get a channel with him, how it's gonna look. This is Brown Girl Interruptions website, right? And this is her channel. This is her channel through his network. Through his network. Okay, the iRent network is an independent, media and streaming platform that focuses on giving all of us creators and podcasters and community leaders, entrepreneurs and storytellers, all of us, an outside way of doing things, outside the norm, And so this is what it looks like. It's a whole television channel. It had the TV guide, just like when you go on cable TV, and it's just really, really amazing. And when you're
Can I
done,
plug this a little bit? So this is, I mean, and the beauty of this, right, is that it is a 24-hour network that you can find on your Roku TV or Roku device, any Roku device. You can download it as the iRant channel, and you will find BGI TV. You will find several other TV stations, several other stations, and each station is running 24/7 with episodes. So you can see, this is actually, I think this is like season 3 for me, maybe. This might be a season 3 episode we're looking at right now with Ron Rapatello. I recall this. It was in January, and it's
mhm.
still running. Yeah, I love that you brought this up, because absolutely, having him as your producer is more than just having a show. it's having a vision, it's having a big picture of what you can accomplish and create that can be seen in so many places with so many different ways of showing your talents.
Yes, 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 yes. So listen, now also what I want to do is right now, I want you to know right now, StreamYard has definitely gotten me going. I want you to take a moment and just talk about your pain to power. You have pain to power, so I want to give you a moment to talk about that and let the people know how you are doing that and what you're doing with pain to power. So let's do that here. Let me give you the camera for a minute.
I love it. I love the production. So Pain to Power is a talk show. I don't call it a podcast. I call it a talk show. I invite guests on. I am starting up season 6 in October. I have had over 100 episodes, and that's 100 different stories told with dynamic guests who have taken, because as I was writing, I was meeting people who had different stories of their own. And that was when in 2022, I was like, I think I want a show where we elevate these stories of how people got to the place of power that they're in. How are they doing what they do where they lead others? So the full name of the show is Pain to Power, Leading with Love, because it is about individuals who have been resilient, found their own tools, and now are helping others. So that's artists, it's podcasters, it's writers, it's musicians, it's poets, it's educators, it's business people, models, comedians, literally anybody you can imagine who is doing something transformative because they have learned how healing is a choice and taken the choice to do it, and now are helping others to do the same. So that is Pain to Power. It comes on Sundays at 8 p.m. on Brown Girl Interrupting on YouTube, on the I Rant Network, and on the Ranters Union on YouTube. And we stream live. We have a live audience that you can engage with. You can ask questions. So that is Pain to Power. But can I tell you where Pain to Power has taken me? Because I would love to share a little bit about what's happened from it.
Please do, please do. Go into where it's taking you, because I know you have the talk series and you have so much that you're doing. Please take a moment to
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yes, let the people know where it's taking you and what you're offering from that. This is a good time for you to do that. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you again, Crystal, for this invite. Like, I'm excited to share what I'm doing because it has been a beautiful journey, and I'm so ready to share it with others and have people with me on it. So Pain to Power has really parlayed into, first it was a show. It was my own shows, and those are podcasts called Maria's Musings. And now After the Breaking, which is really the unraveling of what it is when we break, when we have left a marriage, when we have left something difficult, when we're starting all over again, because so many of us are, and how we heal. So, like, for example, my most recent episode was about she forgot she was capable, and how we lose our sense of capability and competence when we are in emotionally abusive relationships, which I don't think. And what I try to do is really talk about the things that we don't talk about as much. We talk about a lot of things, and a lot of things are out there, but there are some conversations that are these nuanced, intricate details of internal experience when you're in emotionally abusive spaces that are so important to elevate, so that you know what you're feeling and why you're feeling it, and you have tools to be able to get through it. So what I've also done is created courses. Those courses are community spaces where it's virtual, and they're called Empowerment Unlocked. It's a 5-week course. I'm starting my next one, and the link hopefully is going to be here for you to share. I am starting the next round of courses on July 19th, Empowerment Unlocked. It's 5 weeks of guided conversations where we start to really unpack these patterns of socialization and these patterns of pain and where they come from, and then examine them and really begin the journey of reclaiming our power. And the coaching then led me to the courses have now led me to individual coaching, because what I've learned is that we can have community conversations, but some people need some more intimate work and intimate process, and they need some one-on-one conversation of their pattern, of their experiences. So I developed a framework which specifically has come from my own journey, my own experiential, and my knowledge of understanding race and equity, of understanding adult learning, of understanding neurology and the idea of neuroscience, and develop this framework of how I support women, particularly who have been in emotionally abusive relationships, to find their power, their truth, and their voices again. And the courses and the coaching is all based in my framework of return, which is that we need to remember our patterns, examine them, transform our mindsets, unlearn the behaviors, reclaim the power by taking all that and finding the voice that is our own, and finally nurture it all with joy and ways to sustain that learning. And that's the work that I'm doing now, is coaching and the courses themselves.
So what's happening? So what's happening right now is, hold on, my boy.
Oh, you're
I know
muted.
you can't hear me. I had to come in on another one because my screen, it did something. So give me just one.
Sure. I get it. Technical issues happen. This is the beauty of adapting on virtual spaces, right?
I couldn't see you, so I had to do this for a moment, and this is where having a producer comes in. But since I didn't have my producer there, I had to be creative because when I put up that other site, I could no longer see you. I was no longer. I didn't know what was on the screen. So bear with me one moment, and we'll
No
be back
worries,
to.
no worries.
We'll be back. Just
And
bear with me
Crystal, can
one
I just
moment.
say shout
And
out
I'll
to you for the production you've been doing. It is not easy to host and produce at the same time. It is hard. It's been hard for me, and I've been doing this for now 5-6 years, and so shout out to you and kudos.
What happened was I couldn't see anything. It took away. I don't know if that ever happened to you. It took everything away.
Yeah.
But like that's what happens, y'all, when you don't have a producer on deck and you have to do everything. You have to be creative. So you always want to have additional devices so that you can find a way, because there's a difference between doing a live production and doing a pre-recording. When you are live, you are live.
Right. That's it. There's no air. There's no room for air. There's no editing. It's all raw.
So I was sitting here going, okay, I went to YouTube to see what they could see. And I said, okay. Think for a moment. I said, okay, it's John's birthday, so I'm not going to bother him. So what am I doing here? So I said, okay, I had to close this out. But in order not to stop the broadcast, I had to bring up another one. So you just saw a production move live. You just literally saw a production move live. So if you think this is what you want to do, you got to be able to do it. You know how they say when you're on Broadway, the show must go on. When you're podcasting and you're doing these shows, you got to be able to keep going. You can't panic. You have to be able to keep going to do what you need to do. And that's what it is. But listen, everything that you've been sharing, I was listening to you while I was trying to figure out what the heck I was doing. But I was listening to everything you said. So Pain to Power, the talk series and everything, and meeting Ja and transitioning from the show that you had with the other young lady first, that took a lot of courage. Even though you said he saw you before you saw you, I want to say kudos to you for doing it. I want to say kudos to you for going through, because I saw the website. I saw the shows. I saw how many series you've been doing since 2021. So I want to say hats off to you, because a lot of people are in it and then it becomes a hobby and they don't last that long. They don't last that long. So we definitely want to make sure that we acknowledge you. So here we go, right here. Definitely. Yeah, because that's important. That's important. We have to pat each other on the back. We have to acknowledge each other. But this is not easy. This is not easy. It's time consuming. She's a mother. She just told you she has 4 children. So with that being said, we're going to go back to that, but talk to me for a minute. How do you juggle? How do you juggle all this?
So I love what Shonda Rhimes says. I think it frees me so much is that I don't, right? Like I show up a little less in any space that if I'm giving something to something else, right? So what I do is I balance my time. So I can only be present where I'm present. So what I've learned to do is to shut down certain things and be totally present where I am. So right now, I'm not trying to mom. I am just here. I am present here, right? But when this shuts off, I'm going to be present with my daughter. And so in the summers, I take a break, which is why I finished my last show in May, and now I don't start again until October. I love this. I mean, that's the additional thing. Like, I love this. I think if I went back to Little Maria kind of always wanted to be like a star, I think, and never saw herself as one, right? So, so that is some of the big things about me and like how I think, you know, why I have sustained for as long as I have sustained, right? Part of it is that I love it, but also part of it is that I have learned how to shut it off. I have learned how to, how to prioritize when I do certain things and when I don't. And I see my purpose as bigger than me. So what drives me is that, especially now, when I wrote my piece yesterday, that was my story. It's my pieces. It's my notes from 2012 to 2018. But I just want so badly that woman who is feeling those things, but just doesn't have the words or just doesn't realize what she's feeling or just needs that push over the edge to know that she can jump and she'll be okay. I want that. I want more women to heal, because the more women who heal, what we do is we create generations of children who know how to heal, who watch healing, who then don't repeat our patterns, who then are young women who choose their voices and themselves before contorting themselves for men and marriage and perfectionism and patterns. So that is why I keep doing everything I do. But I get exhausted. I get absolutely exhausted. And there are times where I just go silent and totally non-social and totally off of everything because I have to. Because it's really hard, particularly like when your work is your work and work is hard, but when your work is exposing the deepest, hardest parts of you, it is emotionally draining at the same time.
Yes, it is. And being a coach. So I saw what you put on your website where you said, come home to yourself, healing, growth, and unapologetic self-discovery. And you help people to do transformative self-discovery. And we need to talk about that. You help people to break free from the expectations of the world and to reconnect with their power within. Okay, so let's talk about that for a moment. People are always trying to live up to their parents, their job, some type of expectation, keeping up with society, and they lose themselves in there. So how do you help people to get past trying to keep up with the Joneses and keep up with everybody else's expectation and reconnect with themselves? How do you help people to do that?
Well, the first thing is to name it, right? Like, so you just said all those things, but so many people are walking around in their lives and they don't name that. They just exist in it. They just do. They just show up because, of course, why not? That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm a woman. I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to be this. I'm supposed to act this way. And if I don't, well, then I'm not good enough and I'm not enough. And so the first step is remember by knowing what have you been told you were supposed to be. And then examine it. How'd that work for you? How do you feel every day?
Mm.
How much do you know yourself? How much do you love yourself?
Mm.
How much do you choose yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Before saying yes to things you should say no to, before taking a path of a job or a career or a marriage that you don't really want, but you think everybody else expects you to do it, right? So, what I do and what I want for women to do is to start with remembering and examining. And that examining is really going deep into ourselves. And that comes back to our identity connection, because examining is where we have to bring up our own truths, and it's uncomfortable. And discomfort is something we often, and this is why we don't do it, we run from. But what I want people to do and what I coach people to do is to sit in discomfort and to lean into it, because discomfort is a space of growth.
If you're just tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking to the brown girl here, all right? And she is one that's helping people to do what they need to do. And she said the journey isn't about becoming someone else, it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you. Oh my goodness, unbecoming everything that isn't really you. So you have to forget all that stuff and you have to start all over again. How hard is that for people without therapy and counseling?
Whew. So this is not therapy. This is not counseling. This is coaching to see yourself. It's giving you the power to recognize and know who you are. And it's the hard part is the uncomfortability of it. The hard part is that it's going to bring up things that are painful and that might bring up parts of yourself that you don't really want to acknowledge. I mean, for me particularly, right? Like, as I did this work, what I realized is how much my ego drove me. You know, you asked me about me as a parent. So much of me as a parent was my ego.
Mm-hmm.
When we try to control other people, when we want to see the outcomes we want to see, that is something we have to let go of to fully just be ourselves and heal, because we're so worried about everyone else. But what are we doing for us?
Right. Wow. And I see here on her website, and you see me scrolling through her website where she just has her work, where she has different places where she's, the transforming basis, where she's helping people, guiding people through challenges. I
So
mean,
I would say, and can I speak to this a little bit? So all of this is individual coaching, but I will say in my day job, I coach leaders, I coach leadership teams. I know how to build organizational culture through understanding and knowing how to honor who we are as humans. So that starts also with individual work. So when we think about work culture and we think about organizations, so if you have a small business, if you have somewhere where you're working in a space and right now productivity is not effective because the culture is not conducive to that. Safety and trust also is required in human spaces when we're working, and they impact your productivity, they impact the bottom line. So, some of the work that I do is this same conversation of the idea of remembering and examining when it
mhm.
comes to culture in a space.
Okay. Okay. Now, I also see on this page here where you talk about some of your courses. I know you said you wanted to put a link up. I'm going to make sure I put the link up. The link is going to be here, but I definitely wanted to scroll through to show you. So, are these some of the courses that you're going to be offering, or are these courses that you have in the past?
This is the course. It is the 5-session course called Empowerment Unlocked. And the link is going to be the one that you'll share. I don't think it's this one right now. Well, no, this is the same one. Yeah. And it really is about, again, like it's more in community. So I've had 2 sessions so far, and we've built these containers of relationships, even over Zoom, where people have learned so much from each other, where you've had generational conversations from someone in their 30s talking to someone in their 50s and hearing the same patterns, but different ways of them coming up. There's so much healing when we do this kind of conversation in community. And then for some people, we might need a deeper dive in doing it one on one. So if you come and you get my one on one coaching, you also get the course, or you can just simply come and join me in the course. And that's where your starting point is.
Can I, is this a clip here? You want me to play this clip? Will this clip give them a little bit of
You
insight
can
on
play
it?
this clip, yes.
All right, let's take a look, guys. Let's see what this is all about.
What if you've been looking in the wrong places for your answers? What if the clarity you need is already in you? And what if one course could help you unlock it? Let's find out together in Empowerment Unlocked. Join now. Link in bio.
Just that easy, y'all. Just that easy. One course will get you unlocked. Now, I also see on your website you said, but they can work with you, and you have other things where they can get with you. What's this all about? Where you said work with me, be a guest? Is this where you give people the opportunity to come on your show? Do you want to speak to that for a minute, where they can?
Yeah, I mean, so I am open to always looking for guests, and season 6 is already starting to fill up with people. I know Crystal, you'll be coming and joining me, and several other people. But sharing your story with me on Pain to Power, there's a link there to just set up a conversation, talk a little bit more about your story, because I'm looking for people who have really done some transformative things to help others heal. So what does that look like? How did you choose your healing? What are some of the tools that you can provide? The Pain to Power is really about healing in community, providing tools, and sharing the counter stories that we often don't hear. So that's another option, is that, of course, being on my show itself, and then working with me is, again, the coaching, the courses themselves, working in organizations and having some of that conversation. I'm also a keynote, so I can come and I can speak in spaces.
Nice.
And so all of that is what I'm capable of, what I do, and what I would love to support all of you in, because I truly, truly, in my heart, believe and have practiced since I started this journey in 2022, is that healing is a choice. And when we make that choice, we create better culture and environment around us, and we start to heal some of the generational damage around.
Wow. So if you go on her website, you can also send her information. You can go to browngirlinterrupting.com, browngirlinterrupting.com, and she has the page here where you can contact her and give her your name, your email, and your phone number, and send her a message, and she'll let you know exactly what you need. A wonderful, wonderful website. I just love
And
it.
then my link tree is also a really good, easy access to me. It has all of these things in one easy space. So if you want to go there, please go to the website, peruse. You'll see. One other thing is, as I said, I'm a writer. I've got my Substack, my blog. I think you're about to click on it right now. So there's my blog, and then I'm also on Substack, where I have a lot of my writing, most recently. And these are some of my older posts. I talk about parenting, if you need guidance in that. I talk about just individual healing and what that looks like. I talk about the identity and culture aspect. And I talk about relationships, some of it advice for men, some of it advice for women. And if you want a sneak peek to understand some of the return journey that I'm taking people on, I have a series of writing on Substack called Return, all talking about how I myself have gone through this journey and found my voice and found some pieces of healing that have helped me and can help others as well.
This is amazing. So you are helping people visually with audio, everything, and then of course, to see her channel and what it looks like. I mean, it's just beautiful. Once again, through iRent Network, this is what it looks like. This is the show. You can see it there, and this is what it looks like. You click on and you go to the channel, and as you can see, it's on all night long, and it'll show you the things that are coming up, and it's a beautiful thing. And you can stay connected with her with these right here. This is how you can stay connected with her on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and everywhere. Brown Girl Interrupted groundgirlinterrupting@gmail.com. And her phone number is on the website too. Do you want me to say the phone number as well?
No, please don't.
Okay. So the phone number's there, so we don't want to give that out right now. So listen. Amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we let the people see the links. We're going to make sure we have the links here too. We're going to make sure we have the links here and see how we get that. Ladies and gentlemen, this young lady is doing some amazing things, and I'm so excited to have her here today. And you wanted to talk about something else too. What was the other thing you wanted to talk about? Because you did mention one other thing as well.
No, I think I covered everything that I really wanted to talk about, which was the piece. Definitely make sure you go and read the piece. I think I linked that here too, so you can go and read that a million moments, and the coaching, and definitely the course. Those are the really big thing. And the course starts again. Not July 19th, I'm sorry, August 19th. I'm starting my fall session for the course. Please make sure you go and sign up. It is, you'll get a workbook, you'll get community. We do an hour and a half sessions, 5 sessions. And it is just really, they've been powerful spaces. And I can't wait to have another group of individuals to experience what it is to start unlocking your power and having your voice.
And what do you want people to feel after they do a session with you?
I want them to feel they understand themselves a little bit better, and they understand how when life can get hard, when they have moments where they question who they are, or they question the things around them, or they feel hurt, that they know they have the tools within themselves to move through it with the grace that they need.
Wow. So here's some of her links right here. The links right here. This is one link. It includes the coaching and the free consulting and signing up for upcoming course. So if you look at this link here, you'll be able to click this link, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely. And put your link tree in there. I would love to put your link tree up. The link tree would be great.
So that is the link tree, but I'll just put it up separately.
Okay, I see the link tree here on the bottom.
I'll put it in right here. There you go. That's the link tree. And yes, so if you go to the link tree, you actually can get a free resource, get a taste of some of the work I do. It's a free resource, the breath and body tracker, which takes you through just how do you start to recalibrate yourself with some breathing techniques, as well as taking you through some questions you can start asking yourself when you're thinking of communication and interaction with others, using the return framework and some of the steps for that. There's also a link right in there to start just a free conversation with me, just to see, where are you? What is your story right now? And how might I be able to help you in this journey? And of course, the link for the Empowerment Unlocked course.
Yeah, we're gonna give them
the Substack and my YouTube.
Listen, we're gonna make sure we give them all. I wanted to give them the link tree separately so that they could see it and definitely know what it is. So I'm gonna put the link tree up there so that they can have it for you. Listen, you're doing so much good stuff, definitely. And I'm gonna make sure that when you come back and see this, it's going to be in the comment as well. I'm going to have everything in the comments, so you don't have to worry about it. Everything will be in the comments for her. I'm going to make sure you have all the links she spoke about, so you'll be able to reach out to her. Anybody you would like to thank, I would give my guests the opportunity to thank anyone that they'd like to thank. Maybe whether it's people that work with you, clients, family, anyone. I always like to give people the opportunity. I put the camera on you and let you have the spotlight and give some final thoughts with thanks, and also any special word that maybe I didn't ask you, because sometimes I may not have asked the question and there may be something else that you might want to touch on. So I'll give you a moment to do that.
So first off, I gotta thank and wish a very happy birthday to Ja Logic, my producer, the one who saw me before I saw myself, and just being here as a fellow visionary on this journey with me, pushing me. And honestly, for me, I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't have a village of people around me who supported me, who grow me, who push me. That's my family on Substack. That's some of the TikTok friends and supporters and subscribers that I have. It's my Instagram family. It's my Facebook family. It's my actual family. And for certain, my children, my friends, my colleagues. Like, I am blessed beyond blessed. Like, when I think about it, it everybody has helped to support me and propel me to where I am. And I do have to just give one very special shout out to my daughter. She is my light. She is my catalyst of growth. She is the one who keeps pushing me to be the best woman that I can be.
Wow, that's so special. How old is she?
She's 9.
Oh, that's
So,
so.
and can I tell you a story? So this little poster up
Yes,
here,
please
it
do.
actually,
Please
it
do.
was to my daughter. It was a gift from my daughter to me one Christmas, and I unraveled it, and it was the best joke. It was so funny. Everybody laughed at it because it's like, that's for a mom to a daughter, right? Not a daughter to a mom. But I love it because it's all the things that, like,
What
she
did it say?
believes I should know. To my daughter, whenever you feel overwhelmed, remember whose daughter you are and straighten your crown. And always remember you are braver than you think, stronger than you seem, and loved more than you know.
Wow, that's amazing. A lot of times our children, they do really push us, and it's, I'm sure the sons too. I'm sure the guys, sometimes when we do this kind of work, right?
Not to discount my boys. They know I love them too. It's in a different space of love, your
Yes,
daughter,
it's a
your
different
son.
space. It's a different space. Different space. Any outside of your coaching, getting ready to gear back up, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow her on. Make sure you follow her on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel. When you do start back, when will you start back going live, or should they just go on there and just go search? Because you got a lot of good stuff on your YouTube too.
I do. Definitely go and search. Go watch all the old seasons. You can see them. They're categorized. I've got who I've had on the show over the time. And again, there's also just some other things. Also shows I've been on are on there as well. And go check out After the Breaking, which is going to be on more often. I got to get to all the places you're in, Crystal, the way you've got. I love what you had. You had like all the different platforms up there. And then I will say, the way you'll know my show is coming, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I am a constant poster. And one of the things you'll also see is that right now I'm putting a lot of posts out there about healing and how we use some specific tools to start thinking about undoing the emotional abuse. So if you want some tips, if you want to understand that, please go and follow me. I have lots of that. I have my writing on Substack. Like, I am all over. I'm all over. I'm like, and that's how you keep up with me, is as I'll just keep posting and be telling you when the next thing is coming. But October is when the season starts. Believe me, I'll do a lot of promos before to get us ready for it.
Wow, October. So you taking a break on summer? See, I'm learning from her, y'all, because we could get burned out doing this stuff. So
this is the nurture part of the return. We must nurture ourselves with joy and healing too, right? Because we burn out. And this is also part of what I've learned is like, but for who?
yes,
Why am I doing all that? Is
yes,
it for someone else or is it for me?
right. That's good. That's good. That's good. So I will talk to you because, with my audience, healing is important. I talk a lot about grief, healing, caregiving, and all those things are heavy, right? And so maybe we could talk about doing some things together when you come back in the fall, and maybe have a series or something that could help some people. I want to thank you so much for
I
taking
love
time.
that.
I'm so glad I met you. I'm so glad I met you. God told me he has a lot of good people on his network, and I know he said he's going to do something like a conference to bring us all together.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. I think that's going to be amazing. But, this is the Brown Girl, y'all. And y'all need to make sure y'all go follow her on all her platforms and get with her. Check out her on her TV, on Roku devices, and reach out to us if you want to have your own show. I am your Hope Catalyst, Krista Bodie Smith, And my mission is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save lives. And you know those 3 words I say, y'all, keep hope alive. Because I want you to be hopeful about whatever it is you're trying to do. I don't want you to give up. I want you to be optimistic and find a way to make it happen, because you deserve that, you know. And guess what? While you're here, if you come back, like, share, and subscribe to both of us, okay? It's free. It's free. You can be kind for free. It doesn't cost you anything. So please do that while you're here, guys. And I will see you on the next story time, which will be on Sunday. I have an amazing show on Sunday. You don't want to miss this Sunday. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern is when we have story time. And until we decide to take a break, okay? So we'll be here. And I want to thank you so much for being here today.
Thank
Much
you.
respect to you for everything that you're doing. Kudos again for the organization and the professionalism and the way to which you're distributing it all. It's simply amazing. It's definitely admirable. And I will contact you for sure.
Thank you. I look forward to working together and to have you as a guest on my show in the fall. So thank
I
you
look
so
forward
much.
to it. I look forward
Thank
to
you
it, y'all. Tune in.
Opportunity.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I know some of y'all probably get ready to go back to the TV because the Knicks start tonight because it's the start of the playoff. I'm a New Yorker, so I had to throw that in there. Y'all go Knicks, go Knicks. So I had to slide that on in there. So thank y'all for watching. See y'all on the next story time. Go be great on purpose. Thank you again. And please, whatever you do, keep hope alive. God bless. And see y'all on the next show.
A catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.